There's something different about Toronto this summer. The city feels more alive. Patios are packed, music spills into the streets. And everywhere you go, you can feel it. The World Cup is happening in the background of everyday life. People stop mid-conversation to check scores. Cafes wrapped in cheers. Strangers end up watching matches together like they've known each other for years. And for the first time since I've moved to Toronto 3 months ago, it feels like I'm seeing the city at its absolute best. But there's one place people keep telling me about. If you want to understand Toronto, go to Kensington Market. They say it's the city's most creative neighborhood, the most diverse, the most alive. So today, in the middle of this incredible summer, I'm spending the entire day there, not to see the attraction, but to answer one question. Is Kensington really the soul of Toronto? Hi friends, welcome back to Persian Travelista. I'm Nia, I moved to Toronto about 3 months ago, and this summer I've been trying to explore the city properly, one neighborhood at a time. Not as a checklist, but to actually understand what makes each place feel different. And today we are starting with Kensington Market. The moment I step in, the city changes. Downtown feels structured. Kensington doesn't. It feels looser, less controlled, more unpredictable. There's color everywhere. Music coming from open doors. People sitting outside with nowhere urgent to be. And almost immediately I slow down without even trying. That's the first thing Kensington does. It pulls you out of the rush. What surprises me most is that nothing here feels polished. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it feels real. The signs are hand painted. The buildings don't match. The streets don't feel perfectly arranged. But somehow it all works together. It doesn't feel designed, it feels lived in. Like the neighborhood has been collecting stories for years, and instead of hiding them, it keeps them out in the open. One thing I've learned from moving to a new city is that sometimes the best way to understand it is not to plan too much, just walk. Kensington is perfect for that. Every corner leads to something different. A mural, a small cafe, a vintage shop, a quiet street you didn't expect, and slowly you stop trying to see everything and just start paying attention. And today there's another layer in the city, the World Cup. It doesn't replace the everyday rhythm of Kensington. It adds to it. On patios, people gather around the screens. You hear cheers before even you know what happened. People pause mid-conversation to check scores. Strangers react together like they are part of the same moment. And for a few weeks, the city feels more connected, more electric, more alive. That's what makes exploring Toronto right now feel so special. The city already has so many cultures, languages, and stories moving through it, and the World Cup brings all of that to the surface. Something I don't always show in travel vlogs is everything that happens between the highlights. Checking directions, keeping track of time, making sure my camera battery survives the day, figuring out where to go next, and navigating a busy city while staying present. Those little details might not make the final edit, but they are part of every trip. And the more I travel, the more I appreciate having the important things sorted before I leave. One of those things is travel medical insurance. When I'm exploring a new place, I want to focus on the experience, the streets, the food, the people, and the memories I'm making without spending time worrying about the unexpected. That's why I use SafetyWing. SafetyWing is a travel medical insurance designed for people who are always on the move. Whether you are a digital nomad, a frequent traveler, or just on a short trip like this one, it can help cover unexpected medical issues while traveling, emergency medical evacuation, lost checked luggage, and travel delays. You can sign up online and plans usually start at around $2 a day, depending on your trip and coverage. So whether you are planning a city break, a longer journey, or an adventure anywhere in the world, it's something worth checking before you go. If you want to take a look, I leave the link in the description. It doesn't cost you anything extra and I may earn a small commission if you sign up, which helps support the channel. This portion of the video is in partnership with SafetyWing. Alright, back to Toronto. While Harbourfront is coming in part 2 of this Toronto in Summer series, today belongs to Kensington Market. Okay, I found a cafe. I ordered coffee and cake, and honestly after walking around in the summer heat, this feels perfect. One thing I've realized about travel is that cafes aren't just breaks, they are part of the experience. Because when you sit down, everything changes. You stop moving, you stop rushing, and you actually start feeling the place you're in. People watching outside, soft noise in the background. A moment where nothing dramatic is happening, but everything still feels alive. And I think that's especially true in Kensington, because this isn't really a neighborhood you're meant to rush through. It's a place to sit for a while, to taste something, to watch the street, to let the day slow down around you.
Where do you come from? Iran. Iran, yeah, welcome.
And this cake is honestly really good. I'm just saying, this is serious research. And if you enjoy slow travel stories like this, I'll be sharing the rest of this Toronto in Summer series here on Persian Travelista as I keep exploring different neighborhoods. So feel free to stick around for the next ones. After the cafe, something changes, not in Kensington, in me. Earlier I was trying to understand the neighborhood, now I'm just experiencing it. The pressure to figure everything out disappears, and I start noticing the smallest things. Plants outside windows, old signs, conversations I can't hear but somehow can feel. The texture of the streets, the way people move through the neighborhood like they belong to it. And suddenly Kensington starts making sense in a different way, not logically, but emotionally. Kensington isn't famous because of one thing. It doesn't have one landmark that defines it. It's famous because of how it feels. Messy, creative, unpredictable, and full of life. Different cultures, different stories, different rhythm. All existing on the same streets, and maybe that's why it works, because nothing here is trying to be perfect. It feels like a neighborhood that has made a space for many versions of itself, and in a city like Toronto, that feels important. When I started today, I thought I was just exploring a neighborhood, but I think I ended up learning something about Toronto. This city isn't something you understand all at once. It's too big for that. Too layered, too many cultures, languages, memories, and everyday stories moving through it. Instead, it reveals itself slowly, through places like this, through moments like today, through a coffee break, a mural you didn't expect, a cheer from a cafe during a World Cup match, a street you only discovered because you stopped following a map. And maybe that's the real way to get to know a city. not through landmarks, but through time and attention. So that was my first full day in Kensington Market, and I think it was the perfect place to start this series. Not because it's the most polished neighborhood in Toronto, but because it reminded me of something important. You don't need to understand the city immediately, you just need to spend enough time in it. Until it starts a little less unfamiliar and a little more yours. This is part 1 of Toronto in summer. Next time we are heading to Harbourfront for a completely different side of the city. If you want to come along as I keep discovering Toronto one neighborhood at a time, subscribe to Persian Travelista. I'm Nia, and I'll see you in the next adventure.